Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Adrian, and this is the Clark response. I know I haven't done a video in a while, and it seems like I probably should have done a few videos over the last few days, but let's be honest, I'm not really getting a lot of views right now, so I wasn't really that motivated. But I am today. And starting this point forward, I'm going to be doing more videos because I looked at people's pages and I realized, wow, in order to get any kind of traction, you need to just keep hitting the algorithm with videos, videos, videos. I'm seeing content creators with 400, 500, 1,000 videos posted. So I got a lot of work to do. But guess what? I got a lot of things to say about my favorite topic in the world, Caitlin Clark. All right, because the Caitlin Clark topic is just so vast. There's so many things going on involving Caitlin Clark, revolving Caitlin Clark. There's so much about our society. There's so much about how the world really works now that we're watching happening to Caitlin Clark through the WNBA and other parts of the WNBA and people who are affiliated around the WNBA and their true mission, which is the women's movement. It's not basketball. Remember, the whole premise of my understanding of how the WNBA is dealing with Caitlin Clark is about the culture of the WNBA and what I believe its true purpose, which was the women's movement, and to inundate the culture with their various ideologies regarding the women's movement, regarding other things like the LGBTQ movement and social justice and all these other sorts of agendas. And I believe that that is what the WNBA is for. This is why the WNBA has not failed, or it's been deemed too big to fail by many of the owners, even though up until last year it hadn't made a profit. No business in the universe has carried that long if it's not making a profit. That's ridiculous. All right. So there's other reasons why the WNBA they just kept putting money after bad, money after bad. They just kept giving money, kept giving it after bad, and we know why now. It's the agenda. And Caitlin Clark is hated because she doesn't fit the agenda. She's not a part of the club. She brought people like me. Okay, and I don't mean just black, but there are a lot of black men who love Caitlin Clark. Very underreported story, by the way. But she brought fans, people who want basketball, people who are now going to come in and examine with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with this and this. They're going to see what they see and they're going to make judgments. And they're going to call, as my man Ben Daniel likes to say, a spade a spade. Okay? So, matter of fact, I need to come up with some sort of intro tagline or something. You know, everybody has, like Frank Pope has the Pope, the host that does the most, something, top of the afternoon, wherever you are, morning, blah, blah, blah. Ben Daniel says, welcome to the Ben Daniel podcast. What do you call it? A spade a spade. You know, Octonation calls himself the Black Columbo. So I need some sort of tagline here. I need some sort of other slogan or something. I have another channel that is completely different that I don't even want to talk about right now because I am trying to keep those two identities separate right now. But I have a definite tagline for that, and I have a much bigger channel somewhere else. So this is super small. It's not getting a lot of traction right now, but that's all right. With that being said, I've already wasted 3 minutes of your time. Actually, no, I haven't, because there's much you need to learn about me and why I'm here. So, I wanted to comment about Colin Cowherd. Now, many of you know he works at Fox Sports. He's a big-time radio broadcaster. Used to work for ESPN. I mean, the guy is considered a legend by so many people in that space. I mean, the man is somebody that everybody wants to imitate because he's been very successful. And he used to be extremely cutting edge. But when your pockets get fat and you get older, and you are considered at the top of the game. Well, at least he considers himself at the top of the game. But there are millions of people. I think the man gets, 9 million listeners a day or something like that. So they consider him tops. And I used to love Colin Cowherd's show. I used to listen to it and religiously. I mean, but I rarely listen to Colin Cowherd now, but I did hear him the other day. And he's been on this thing about Caitlin Clark is Michael Jordan. That she is the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And that what she's going through is nothing different than what Michael went through. First year, he was hated. Second year, he had a severe injury that limited him to a certain amount of games his second season. Comes back, he really starts to truly dominate and establish himself his third season. So that's his premise. And he's also saying, hey, look, well, we've seen the act. She shoots the threes. She makes the plays. Okay, now we need championships and all this sort of stuff. And he had a few points to make on his take. If you, right now, I don't have the time nor the ability to really take clips and add them in here or somehow place audio somehow so you can hear it. But trust me, there are plenty of people in the CC or the Caitlin Clark YouTube space that have done videos on this already, but I didn't watch any of them because, no, I want my opinions to be my own. But trust me, I'm sure that those guys are playing clips. If you want to hear it, you can just go and call a Cowherd's podcast, or I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. But basically, his point was this. She needs to do something more in this third season to establish herself as a true star. In that she needs her co-star, she needs her Scottie Pippen, and he believes that's Kelsey Mitchell. And he believes that basically all she's going through is the same kind of jealousy that players back in the day went through. And and so she's Michael Jordan in that regard. And I just think, and then he says a couple other things that are just nuts about her game style, her play style, which she only shoots threes or something like that. It's ridiculous. That means he's not watching. And he's also not watching because if he thinks Kelsey Mitchell is Scottie Pippen, then my God. Now, I know that he doesn't mean she's Scottie Pippen from a basketball perspective, from a talent perspective, but he's talking about her in a conceptual manner, that Kelsey Mitchell is, Robin to Caitlin's Batman, right? Or Klay Thompson to Caitlin's Steph Curry, which she was in season 1. But it's obvious, if anyone's paying attention, that Kelsey Mitchell doesn't think of herself as Robin. She thinks of herself as Batman. So does Stephanie White. So does the Indiana Fever. And they have been trying to play her that way this year. So she can't be Scottie Pippen because, one, Scottie Pippen knew his role from day one. The hierarchy had been established. This was Jordan's team. 2, Phil Jackson would never allow that because Phil Jackson understood who Scottie Pippen was and what his pecking order was. The leadership understood it. The leadership formed everything around Jordan and Pippen. All right? Now, if Kelsey Mitchell was to understand her role and stay number 2, then we may have a point. If Stephanie White was to understand that this is Caitlin's team, we build around her, then we wouldn't have a problem. If the Indiana Fever organization felt that way, hell, I would say even people outside that I would call the influencers of the WNBA, people who they have other podcasts, they're on TV, people who are really locked into the mission. They are trying to say, oh, this is Kelsey Mitchell's team, and they're trying to say, oh, she takes things to such a different level, she deserves it, she's such a pro, and they're just glazing this chick. And no, she's not Scottie Pippen, because Scottie Pippen was a two-way player. Kelsey Mitchell isn't. I will give Colin credit for admitting that, hey, Stephanie White is not the right coach for this team. He didn't say it in those exact words, but he said a system and a coach needs to be built around Caitlin Clark. And what she has isn't cutting it, all right? But what Colin Cowherd oftentimes leaves out of his opinion with Caitlin Clark is to talking about the culture of the WNBA and why they really hate her. See, when the men hated Jordan, it's because he was a young fella trying to take their spot because these are old veterans. And of course, people thought that, hey, Jordan was going to come in and take over the league. And of course, being the old competitors that a lot of these veterans are, they're not going to just sit there and take that. Okay, this kid's got to wait his time, and they thought, hey, he needed to, take his time and all this kind of stuff. And here's the thing. I get what they're saying with that, all right? But no, Jordan was phenomenal. He's like Wembanyama right now. He was an alien in his own right. Jordan was doing things that these guys could never do. He was taking over games from his very rookie season, okay? And they hated him for it because they were jealous. Yes, did they commit some fouls against him? Did they talk trash about him? Yes. But nothing compares to the stuff that Caitlin has received. Absolutely nothing. And anyone that claims that isn't paying attention. And you can tell Colin Cowherd he's not paying attention. There are a lot of dudes in the space that are men that talk about Caitlin Clark who are not watching the games and who have no clue of the true nature and the culture of the WNBA. I would go into a great explanation as to why they hate her, but I've already done that in 3 other videos. But I will continue to do that. But if I do that, this video is going to be 48 minutes long. And the next thing you know, YouTube isn't going to upload it. It's going to take 25 years for it to be uploaded. So I would end it with this. Yeah, his comments are just, I mean, while I will say that, yeah, he definitely had it nailed as far as she is the Michael Jordan of this league, and they need to recognize that. And that she needs a coaching staff and a system around her. But Kelsey Mitchell is not Scottie Pippen, not even close. She will never be even close to Scottie Pippen. Hell, if I can get her to be a two-way player, that would be tremendous. All right. So, and then also, he kind of talks about it also in a way of, oh, I've seen that act. Let's move on. No, bro. Nah, bro. I get that she needs to win a championship, but no. You haven't really seen her be her. You saw a little bit of it in the second half of her rookie season when Christy Sides finally stepped out of the way. She still made lots of mistakes. Christy Sides still made a lot of mistakes. But you could tell she gave Caitlin the keys in the second half of that season. Then she got hurt last year. You did not, with the exception of a handful of flourishes last year, you did not really get to see Caitlin Clark. Now this year she's only played in 3 games. All right? No, I think 4 now. So we have yet to truly see her break out to be what we think she's going to become. So chill, bro. She's going to get there, okay? Chill out, all right? I get that. Now, I mean, from a mainstream perspective, he might be right only in the sense that, hey, there's a lot of people that still clamor for her, and that kind of fever, pardon the pun, that kind of fever is dying down with her. The attention and the hype she had coming into her second season is a far cry this year from what that was. And there are reasons for that, which I've expressed in other videos and I will express in the future. But for now, that's it. This is Adrian, and this is the Clark Report. And I'm trying to think of some sort of tagline to say, but eventually I will get it. And when I have it, you will hear it. Peace.